In this tutorial, I'll break down how I start to secure a source of food at the normal difficulty setting. So without further ado, let's get started. What is up farmhands, Fat Beats here. Welcome back to the beef farm and to my day 4 tutorial for the first scenario of Frostpunk, A New Home. It's day 4 and the first test of our progress has come. We're going to get a few things done today. 1. We're going to adjust to the sudden drop in temperature. 2. Clear some more of the resource piles. 3. Start collecting food. And 4. Handle our first death. At 7 o'clock, the temperature drops to minus 40 degrees Celsius and puts some stress on our people. At this point, we immediately put our generator into overdrive to compensate for this. As you can see on the temperature map, this boosts all areas affected by the generator by 1 heat level. Notice that this does not include the resource piles, so it's a real risk for our people to be out there right now. If you're just dropping in on this tutorial, feel free to go back to the beginning by clicking on the link in the right-hand corner. Fortunately for us, the heater research is nearly completed. And there we go. Now we need to start researching the sawmill since our wood is getting low. We immediately use the heaters in all work buildings to ensure that we minimize the chance of sick workers there. Since the resource piles are nearly depleted at this point, it's not really worth it to build gathering posts there. Instead, we'll focus on getting our first hunter's hut up and running since our food won't last much longer. By around 11 o'clock, all the resource piles have been depleted and the workers focus on building the first hut. Now that we've completed it, the next objective is to search for another city that should be nearby. The sawmill is researched. Let's go ahead and build one. This first one has to have maximum coverage. Since we're out of wood at the moment, I turn off all the workshops and restore normal working hours to reduce discontent. While there's no real benefit to it in the short term, it's a good habit to get into in general. We need to wait for more wood before we can continue our research. And there it is, our first sawmill. Our scouts have reached the crash site. All we can do here is collect the much needed resources of wood and food and head back to the city. Now we have enough resources to continue our first tier research. However, our next objective is to reach the second tier. So we'll wait for the 50 wood required to start it. You can see the sawmill actually has an animation that shows the wood being processed. Pretty neat. With our first workday ending, we're going to set our sawmill to emergency shift and construct our second hunter's hut. And there is our first and hopefully only death in our city. Since we don't want to waste the emergency shift, we'll continue for penalty and discontent. Now that we have one person down, we need to assign another one to ensure maximum output. With our second hut completed, we can assign workers here now. Let's use our next law to decide what to do with the dead. I choose the snow pit. You'll see why later.
Listen, everyone. New law is signed.
We're going to build the snow pit as far away as possible since it needs to be in cold temperatures. Our scouts have returned with the resources. Now we have some real decisions to make on construction. Let's make sure we have people in the cookhouse first thing in the morning. Let's send them to the remaining location available in the frozen wasteland. We'll be rescuing our people in the lost expedition. Now let's use those freshly delivered resources. We're going to build a gathering post to safely collect the coal and steel nearby. The other thing we need to do is to start researching the drawing boards to unlock the second tier of technologies. Don't forget that at least one workshop has to be on to conduct research. Also, make sure they're on extended shift. As usual, we'll pause here at 6 AM. Don't forget to give a like to this video if you are enjoying this series. See you next time. This is Fat Beats, signing out.